Basement level vibes with another one, straight up blackness. Aye, who tell the truth? Mark Benscop, defend the ghetto youth. Mark Benscop, radio station is the fruit. Mark Benscop, straight up from the root. Mark Benscop, who tell the truth? Mark Benscop, defend the ghetto youth. Mark Benscop, radio station is the fruit. Mark Benscop, straight up from the root. Mark Benscop, I do it for the love, him not do it for no money. Straight up, him attack, educating everybody. Big up my friends and big up my family. Turn on the radio, catch the vibes, it's integrity. Straight up, Benscop stands for unity. One people, one nation, one destiny. Free up the truth in the air, even the blind can see. The deaf can hear, the dumb can talk, the cripple can walk. Boom, who tell the truth? Mark Benscop, defend the ghetto youth. Mark Benscop, radio station is the fruit. Mark Benscop, straight up from the root. Mark Benscop, who tell the truth? Mark Benscop, defend the ghetto youth. Mark Benscop, radio station is the fruit. Mark Benscop, straight up from the root. Mark Benscop, we have to gather wrong, grab a seat and sit down, pay attention. Education, liberation, we have to stand strong. Benscop the.
Hello, this is attorney Shellen Washington, owner and founder of the Washington Law Firm, located at 455 Utica Avenue in Brooklyn, New York. We're specialized in medical malpractice, personal injuries, matrimonial law, and landlord and tenant. If you're in need of legal representation, please give us a call today. The number to call is 718-877-3100. Consultation is free at no cost to you. So call us today to see if we can be of any assistance to your legal needs. Again, the phone number to call us is 718-877-3100.
All right. Hey, guess what? Good evening. Welcome to Straight Up. The big headline you're seeing there, the big headline you're seeing here is rigged elections. Rigged elections. And we have been saying this from the get-go. Rigged elections. The PPP has rigged the elections, the local government elections, just as they did with the general and regional elections. Good evening to all of you. Thanks for sharing the link. Rigged elections. And mind you, check at the pattern. Forget about what Jack Deere said at this so-called press conference. Forget about that. He's a rigger. They rigged elections. Let's not run away from that. So here's what he's trying to do, is to talk about figures and numbers and how they have supposedly increased and all manner of stuff. It's baloney. The PPP has rigged local government elections, especially in areas where they have lost. They have basically padded the voters list in areas and stuck ballot boxes. Look, let us not run away from this. Nobody seems to be in the mood to address some of these things. No one in the media is really addressing it, and hardly folks in the opposition who want to address this particular situation where allegations, mind you, that presidential guards were part and parcel of the rigging. I repeat, presidential guards allegedly were part and parcel of the rigging, And nobody wants to address it again. If nobody wants to address it, we are going to address it again. Let's take a look, please. Let's take a look. Let's take a look at this here, and hopefully you guys will get the message as to what is happening in Guyana. And not too many folks want to fight up about this. People are just caught up in whatever personal vendetta, agenda, vindictiveness, whatever it is. Some folks are just caught up with those nonsense. And we're not about that here. So take a look at this.
comes all the government and the police vehicle and everybody. Big war. And who won't got on all the PPP operatives and who won't got on the fucking mass and all kind of story. Is fucking cool people in this country them biting easy. Easy one on easy when this thing done. When this thing done, tell you got a lot of fucking moderation gonna happen in this country. It's one of the massacre and squant girl see story. Yeah. This is some fucking easy and then by snatch up all of the ballot box and they beat out. They just rig this election. Yeah.
Now let's take a look there. Take a look at those photographs. Those guys are set to be presidential guards. Jack Deere or no one in the PPP or at GCOM would want to address this particular situation. Highly questionable, right? Highly questionable. What is it that these guys, these presidential guards, are out there blocking up road, snatching ballot boxes, according to what we have heard there, and taking them to where? Now, that's the job of the police, I believe, to escort, not for police to grab ballot boxes and so forth, but for police to escort GCOM officials. Now, since when presidential guards, because we see some of them there appear to be presidential guards, what exactly was this situation about? And oftentimes when Jack Deere is confronted with these sort of controversies or questionable situations, guess what? He never knows anything. He never knows except that he knows. And what he knows is that they have won. He knows about the numbers and he talks about it, pretends as though he knows about the numbers. But then when you ask him about these sort of things, he never knows. You ask him about Indar, he never knows. You ask him about Anil and those questionable acts, he never knows. But he knows everything about the opposition, as he claims. He claims that people in the opposition calls him. He claims that this, he claims that Norton, he claims about Roysdale Ford, he claims about Ganesh Mahipal. He knows every single thing. But you're telling me that rascal doesn't know about these things? Or the other controversies and the corruption and the racism within his party? Nothing of that nature he knows. Nothing. But everything else he knows. Everything else he knows. Right? Yeah. But right under he own knows, he in know. Right under he own knows, he in know. I don't know. I don't know. But look, this is what's going to happen now. We want to talk about the rigging. We are not going to hold back in terms of the talking of the rigging. And the question, what exactly? And I don't want to keep asking the same question. Oh, what exactly are these guys in the opposition doing? What exactly is it that they're doing? They have a few fighters, but overall, the question, what are they doing? About the rigging? About all these sort of things? I don't know. Can some of you tell me? Can some of you really tell me? Let's look. Let's look. Yes, some will get annoyed, some want action, some want all sorts of things. You know, look, I'm not an army guy. I was recruited, spent a couple of days, and I beat out. So I'm not going to lie. But in any war or in any struggle, you've got to plan. Or even in life in general, you've got to plan. You've got to plan. You know, I like to put these hungry belly individuals, these hungry belly trench crappos, because they love to call people hungry belly. You people are troublemakers. You people make up stores. Hey guys, thanks again for sharing the link. You people make up stores. You people are troublemakers. You people, right? Note, you people. I'm sure this guy Surin Subdeo is blacker than tar. But it's always you people, you people. I love, look, we don't have this donkey on this on in our video section waiting for them. We got to give this individual Subdeo right away. I don't know if somebody doesn't tell them that when they come with their nonsense, they don't last for long. This is not the other programs that tolerate them. Oh, in the name of democracy, we allow other people. And give me a goddamn break, but allow other people to distract and on. We don't do that here, right? You guys would agree with me. And again, look, uh, and I know that Donkey Award is having lots and lots of fun with them. Good. Let's get back to business, because they got a song by Houdini, I think. The freaks are out at night. We see a couple of the freaks, the trench crappos are out, and as they come out, we just put them back to sleep, put them in the trenches, right? So let's take a look here of those presidential guards. Thus far, nobody has come out to deny or to address this particular issue here as to what exactly the presidential guards were doing. They stopped traffic. And what else? According to the individual who did the filming, said that they were grabbing ballot boxes. Now, the PPP has a history. They love to talk about who had ballot boxes and who did this in the 60s, in the 70s. Look, this is 2023, and they are allegedly thieving, not stealing, thieving ballot boxes. Thieving ballot boxes. I don't know. I give them no passing grade for this here at all. Right? No passing grade for this here at all. But let's go back now to this stealing of the elections, the local government elections. We are seeing that there are some areas that the PPP manufactured 5 votes, extra votes, all sort of questionable things we are seeing. I don't know. Sometimes I think like I'm talking to a brick wall when it comes to the opposition. It's like you're talking to a brick wall. And many of you fight for what we have here today. Y'all are the ones who fought for what we have here today. And I see some of y'all starting to undo what you guys have started. But I'm just going to do what I got to do here, right? And y'all go in the trenches and y'all fight to undo what y'all did. But nobody's fighting. Nobody's out there fighting. Nobody's exposing what ought to be exposed. Nobody's doing it. Who is doing it? I'm talking from the leadership. At the leadership level. At the leadership level. At the leadership level. I don't know. I don't know what I can say other than tonight seemed to be a night that I'm offending some of the trench crappos. As they come, boom, they go. I have no apologies for that. As they come, boom, they go. All right. So here is it now. The term that they have rigged the elections, it seems to be getting to them now. They are riggers. And God in heaven knows, and we want to find out. I was keeping my fingers crossed because I was eager to find out what was in that what is it, those APNU AFC SOPs. I wanted to see the APNU AFC SOPs. I wanted the court to open all of the APNU AFC SOPs. Open them all. Open them. In J.R. Crawford's voice, open them. Right? Open them. Let us see. But they are the ones, the riggers, the PPP riggers are the ones who were running away with everything, running away. The PPP riggers, they have rigged the elections. They have nothing, absolutely. And I want you guys to read my lips. Absolutely nothing on the PNC and Bornham about rigging elections and so forth. Y'all think the PPP easy? They are a bunch of riggers. I don't know. Let's continue. Let's continue to listen to this tape. As you watch it and listen to it, excuse the language and so forth. Some derogatory words that we shouldn't condone. The opposition has supporters from every ethnic group, and we want to respect and continue to appreciate that. So, but let's focus here, though, on the stealing of a local government elections. The alleged, because we are still waiting for them to say whether they were ballot boxes. It wasn't coffins that they were stealing there. So we have to assume that whoever made this video is correct. Ballot boxes. Let's go on.
Just rig it. See Ali, Big Jacob. Nothing can pass them go no way. Yeah. Nothing can go no way. Yeah, man. Presidential guards.
Presidential guards. You're seeing it. It is right in front of our eyes. This is not anything fake or propaganda. You're correct, Bonita. Barefaced with their riggings. And we got to keep on pressing and hammering at this. Meanwhile, the PPPC is rigging the elections. The evidence is right there. They're rigging. This is just one of many. One of many. Bonita Eliza Parker, do not call for J.R. Crawford to come. J.R. Crawford is not on tonight. J.R. is somewhere in the Bahamas taking a rest. Thank you. You get no passing grade for that question. J.R. probably taking a rest in the Bahamas. You calling out J.R. now. Right? Good evening again to you guys. So take a look at this here, and you'll see exactly what is happening here. You will see. But yet, where are the fighters we have in Congress Place? And I ask again, where are the fighters? Where are those fighters? Where are they? Is it that we will sit back and allow the PPP riggers to do all these things? Steal an election, steal seats, steal votes? What next? They're going to go in New Amsterdam and say that they got a majority? Or are they planning right now to buy over 2 councillors? I hope the councillors in New Amsterdam are strong councillors, you know. I know they are strong councillors. Don't let the PPP buy you guys. Or what's going to be the next thing? They're going to say that they discovered some ballots that were not counted. some votes that were not counted? Is that what next? And why does it appear that GCOM is part and parcel of this rigging? Why does it appear that way, that GCOM is part and parcel of the rigging, the barefaced rigging? The next concern is, where are the observers? Why haven't the observers mentioned anything? Why is it that we haven't heard from GCOM? No press conference from the chairman of GCOM. Has she been hijacked? Have they taken over her? Have they put her to sleep for about a week so that they can do their jiggery pokery? Is she part and parcel of this? These are legitimate questions. The other thing, why is it that we are not hearing from the opposition? The opposition commissioners at GCOM, Vincent Alexander, Trotman, and Charles Corbyn. Why is it that they're not having constant press conferences to inform the general public, inform the supporters of the coalition about what is happening there at GCOM? Why? Everybody seemed to be running, everybody seemed to be in hiding, but no. And while everybody seemed to be in hiding, and those who are basically not in hiding are in the background doing some joking up, stabbing up, whatever in the opposition. Joking up, stabbing up, who vex, who vindictive, who this, who that. At some point in time, it's got to stop. And somebody's got to put up a fight to these riggers in the PPP, riggers like Jack Deal, riggers like Irfan Ali, riggers. And those riggers in GCOM as well. I don't know. Omar Saeed is basically saying what everybody and what we have been saying for a very long time right here on 107.1 FM. Wake up, guys. Wake up. All of you in the opposition. You need to wake up. But most of the energy is spent fighting each other. So how are you going to get anywhere? How are you going to fight the common enemy? How are you going to fight the common political enemy? Let's continue to watch this tape, please. Please, guys.
The thief and the whole set of bandits is here, they're operating there. The whole set of gunmen who won't got a mask and all kind of thing. Like these bandits country is so bad, right? Yeah, this country here bad, right? This country here bad. Yeah.
So they stole the elections. That's the parts, and we got to keep an eye on Georgetown as well. We've got to keep an eye on Georgetown as well. Omar Said saying, Mark, I do not know when APNU will get into gear. This is the limit. Of course, this is the limit. But what more do you guys want us here? Or what more do you guys want me to do? It seems as though we've been flogging a dead horse all along. Some of you get vexed. Y'all get vexed. Y'all abuse me. Yeah, y'all ain't tired abusing me. Y'all ain't tired getting vexed over what is right. And if we've been doing what is right from the get-go, these vagabonds in the PPPC, these riggers, would not have been getting away with these blatant acts. They tell themselves that they're on top of the world. They're nobody can touch them. Of course, many of them are untouchables in the hierarchy of the PPP. They're untouchables, and in the true sense of the word, untouchables, if you know what I mean. But we can go on and on to some other stuff. For example, nobody cares about this here. Let's take a look at another so-called Nimakaram, a Katahar, a Korhi for a minister, a so-called minister. When are we, and Saeed is correct, when are we going to wake the heck up? Right, Ian Williams? When are we going to wake up? Some people have been threatening. I'm not easily threatened by the goons. And I smile about that. And sometimes when I smile, don't underestimate the smile. But before we get to this, we've got to find out who this guy is. Fazil Mirza. And look at him. Look at him. Has the nerve to inbox me with a threat. Because when I don't know you and you inbox me, you invade my space, you invade my privacy, and it can be considered harassment. I hope this little idiot knows that. Fazil Mirza. Come to Guyana now. Come to Guyana now. That's what they always say, these little punks. Come to Guyana now. Come to Guyana. And what? And what? Look at him. Look like an overnight pimp. Looks like a dealer, a con artist. Come to Guyana now. These little 5-cent hustlers. Come to Guyana now. Anyways, let's go to this other tape so that you can see how the PPP operates. And this so-called minister, Ignar, should have been locked up for 72 hours and charged. This is the behavior on elections day in a polling station in Denanstill.
This is the thing that will have to speak and you will not have to be there. I did not lock her out. You have to say anyhow. Are you now opening your mouth on people like that? Talk to me, still over. You're telling me to stop. I want you to go home. No! Shut up! What's going on? Mr. Diamond, not supposed to be in here. You're supposed to be in here. I'm supposed to be in here. No, you're not supposed to be in here. No, you were downstairs. I should hold on. She's lying. You see,
Look at that little shameful little rat calling himself a minister. Some no good drunkards. Mr. Caesar, what's going on? We're hearing, and good night to you, sir. We're hearing the rigging, we're hearing manipulation, we're hearing stealing of ballot boxes, we're hearing stuffing of ballot boxes, and all these sort of things. You saw there a so-called minister, a thug, a known thug, a drunkard. Look at how he's behaving in a polling station, bullying his way, saying that he has a right to be there, and all manner of things. These are the sort of lagu bagus who are in office. What's going on, sir?
Yeah, well, hey, look, Mark, there's no denying here from the government. This is all tied to the government. It's one of their minister. And then we had the other situation with the presidential guards yesterday. So, I mean, on the voting day. So it's the same thing, you know, the government is trying to, pull themselves out of the situation, but they're the cause of all of these things that's happening. And Mark, these things are planned, these things are orchestrated by the government. It just doesn't happen by chance. So I don't know. It's just lawlessness. How we address this going forward, man.
I mean, they are
Listen,
thugs. These folks in the PVP are thugs. Look at them. A lot of them in the hierarchy are criminals. Some of them are convicts. Look at these guys. Remember what they did to Ashman's building? They stormed that
same
building.
thing.
They
Same thing.
apparently wanted to kill chairman of the Guyanese Elections Commission, Claudette Singh. They wanted to kill her. But they stormed the building in order to divert attention and make it appear that those individuals, Lowenfield and Roxanne Myers and all those people, look at what they've done to those folks. Look at what they have done to them. Brilliant, brilliant woman, a brilliant woman like Roxanne Myers. Intelligent men like Lowenfield. And I suppose Mr. Mingo himself, since I don't know him personally. But look at what they have done to the lives of those people with trumped up charges, fraudulent charges. 3+ years now, and the matter cannot be heard in the court. Every time they go to court, it is put down and 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 put down.
Well, Mark, what do? They need to get aggressive and sue the state. They need to get aggressive and sue the state because
And
the state
then
have
what?
no
Go in front,
evidence.
and then go in front of some weakling judges,
That's the other thing.
some
Look,
weakling
man,
judges, some judges who do not have backbones and who are afraid of the PPP, the gangsters, the corrupt criminal guys in the PPP. I mean, look, they got a couple of good judges who are brave enough to make decisions. And we have seen some of them. We know who those some are. Did you hear what's happening in Plaisance? And that the PPP got a recount or something of that sort. And I know Plaisance is close and dear to you. Uh, but
I
the PPP is suddenly claiming victory and all manner of things. What's going on there, sir?
Mark, I haven't checked in a while. I'll have to check in and see what information I can gather. I don't know if my brother's on the live, but Mr. Caesar, if you're on the live, can you check in to see what's happening in Plaisance, please?
Don't call your brother on the live. Your brother, whenever he does anything for us here at 107.1 FM, he sends us an invoice. But if he's there, yeah, he can check, or somebody can check and let us know what is happening. Then we heard there's another, I believe it is Plaisance as well. Lots of rigging and skullduggery took place in Plaisance.
Well, Mark, I must say this. There are prominent businessmen in Plaisance, and I have no problem saying this, that is totally tied and in line with the PPPC. But what these people have got to...
Shame on them. Shame
Yep,
on them.
yep. What these people have to understand, man, is that, they're not just selling out Plaisance, but they're selling out the work of our ancestors. And that really bothers me.
But hold on a second,
I
Mr.
don't care who
Caesar.
this
Hold on a
offends,
second.
Yeah.
It's okay. I don't have a problem with people have a preference to political parties. But I have a problem when people supporting this corrupt, this murderous, racist regime. There is a problem. There is a problem. So why is it that the people in Plaisance cannot send a message to those business people in Plaisance who are encouraging the lawlessness and are embracing the oppressors? Do people in Plaisance have to support those businesses? Walk past them straight.
Absolutely not. Absolutely not. Nobody could determine where someone spends their money. You spend your money where you're pleased to spend it. And listen, Mark, look, one of the things that really bothers me is that, there's a lot of young people in Plaisance too. And we have a community center ground out there in Plaisance. And it has always been active, man. But as soon as this guy assumed his position in Pradoville, all of a sudden, all activity at the Pleasance Community Center ground has ceased. The grass is high, high, high. The place is in a terrible condition. Now, one man is denying a whole community from their community center. These kind of behaviors, man, is ridiculous. And listen, I can't believe the people of Pleasance sit down and allow this. Because the Pleasance I know would never allow that to happen.
And the land that that he's on, he took that away. It's private citizens. It belonged to people, ancestral land, the Adams and so forth, right there in Plaisance. That is what this thug, this hooligan Jack Deal, this criminal Jack Deal did. I passed the people of Plaisance, right where he has his plantation there. We gotta be straight up too, right? That we gotta be straight up too. That someone who sits there in the central executive of the PNCR has a property right there next to Jack Dale. And that guy
Absolutely.
is so quiet. When they were running for Congress, he was busy. But now nobody's hearing from Gary Best. Is Gary Best representing the interest of the PNCR supporters? We haven't been hearing anything from Gary Best. Nothing at all from Gary Best. But Gary Best is in that compound. And I don't know if you recall the then chairman of Region 10, Mortimer Mingo, was given a plot of land right there next to Jack Dale in Pradoville too. And then when he got caught with his pants down, he said that the check bunks. So, we got to be careful with certain things now, because when we think we have people who are representing our interest, we got to take a double look at the situation. Because I go back now and I ask, where are those members of the Central Executive Committee who ran for offices during the Congress? Gary Best is one of them. Where is Gary Best? Where is he today? Is he fighting for our interest? Is he saying anything at all? I don't know. Over to you, Mr. Caesar.
Yeah, and Mark, that's exactly the sentiments I was voicing today. Because a lot of people were saying, Aubrey Norton needs to lead the brigade. Aubrey Norton cannot do everything. There's all these people that make up the party, and you don't see half of them. You know, so I don't know. Are we just sitting around taking positions and wasting time?
But
You know.
let's be realistic though. We've got to be honest. The Aubrey Norton that was running for office, running for Congress, and all the things that he has promised, and the macho approach and all these things, it's not the same Aubrey Norton we are seeing now. And many people are asking the question, what has happened to Aubrey Norton? That's all. Many people are asking that question because look at all these things happening. And I know Aubrey Norton can't do it all alone. But the people in the opposition, the PNCR, APNU, I don't know really what is APNU, right? Because APNU is really the PNCR. They have two paper parties. We don't know what they represent or who they represent, but APNU is really PNCR. And the question is, where are the fighters? Don't tell me that Aubrey Norton is holding the fighters back and don't want people to speak up. Don't tell me that. Because when Aubrey Norton was General Secretary under Desmond Hoyt, nobody could contain Aubrey. Not even Desmond Hoyt could have contained Aubrey. No. So these members of parliament should not be, should not be bullied. Like some of them will say that Aubrey bullying them and they can't speak or whatever. If that is true, go right out and keep speaking. Because I'm not going to be part of a system of political party and be bullied by anyone, especially under these questionable circumstances and under a rigged system. I'm just not going to do that. So I'm not buying that guy. So anyways, Elections rigged. New Amsterdam, they've got to be careful. Georgetown, they've got to be careful. Madja, they run into some problems because the PPPC rigged the elections in Madja. Not much attention was paid to the people there in Madja. The PPP rigged the elections in Bartica. The PPP rigged the elections in New Amsterdam, albeit they didn't rig it enough. And mind you, Jack Deere said he wants a recount only in couple boxes. They rigged the elections in Platanka. All of these things. And now he's saying they recounted and then it's a tie. And you know what's going to happen with a tie? They will take control.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what's happening, but hey, I want to talk about this situation here now. This is a schoolgirl, about 15 or 16 years old. She's complaining about someone who sits in a very high office, a minister. She's complaining. You want to hear what she's complaining about? You'd want to hear what she's complaining about. Are you guys ready? We'll let you guys know what she's complaining about. I'll give you an opportunity for some who haven't shared the link to share it. And now Irfan Ali needs to respond to this almost immediately. It says here, dear, and the person is addressed Irfan Ali as president. Cabinet members, private sector members, members of the diplomatic community, citizens of Guyana. I would like to let you know what Minister Nigel Dharamlal has done to me. It's because I am scared for my life that I'm doing this. I see no other way. Nigel Dharamlal has preyed upon me, groomed me, and raped me. This is according to this 16-year-old girl. And now, let me say that what I'm reading to you here now, it's an allegation. 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 I'll read it again. I'll read it again. And I see the trench crappos are busy tonight, but we don't give them space here. I'll read this again. Dear, and again the person addressed Ali as president, cabinet members, private sector, members of the diplomatic community, citizens of Guyana, I would like to let you know what Minister Nigel Dharamlal has done to me. It's because I'm scared for my life that I'm doing this. I see no other way. Nigel Dharamlal has preyed upon me, groomed me, and raped me. The first time I met Minister Nigel Dharamlal, was in September 2022 for our pageant heritage launched at the Ministry of Amerindian Affairs. We took a group photo together with all the delegates. I had great respect for him as a government minister. I was 15 years old. I turned 16 years old on September 16th, 2022. He insisted that I collected his phone number from my chaperone, and I didn't because it was of no importance to me. I was not his Facebook friend, but yet he sent me a message in my inbox a day after I met him, asking me to contact him on his personal number, 600-8868. He eventually gave me another of his cell phone numbers, 624-8868, so that I can get him anytime I want. He said that he was the representative for my region and wanted to make sure I win the contest. During the courtesy call that we had with him, apparently it was evident that he had his eyes on me. One of the delegates told me the Minister Sukai seemed as if she noticed what he was doing and warned me to stay away from him. That delegate later told me he used to constantly message her to go by him and always checking to see if she was free before and after the pageant. But because MP Lennox Schumann had warned her, Lennox Schumann doing that, about him, she didn't engage him. I will withhold her name for privacy reason. On and on and on and on. That's the message. That's the message. And let me read this part here for you guys. Let me read this part here. She continues, and I quote, "This was my first time and I was in a lot of pain." Well, you guys know what happened there now, according to her. And let me say this again. It's being alleged that he raped her. Allegations, mind you, allegations. And so I will continue. "This was my first time and I was in a lot of pain because he was very rough. He never asked me if that is what I wanted. I was in a blur and my mind was blank. I am 5 feet 3 inches, weigh less than 100 pounds. This man is about 5'7" and over 200 pounds. He was dominating me. After a while, I'm not sure that this is a laughing matter, right? So we'll have to get rid of some of these folks, the trench crappos, who are diverting attention and not listening to what's going on. But anyways, I'll continue. She says here, after a while, he said, "I want you to turn over." And he sort of rolled me over. He sort of rolled me over. And he did continue with the vaginal sex for a short while. Then I felt him going for anal. It started paining right away. I told him to stop. I was in so much pain. I was screaming for him to stop. The anal sex was worse than the vaginal one, but he didn't stop. As he was over me, I couldn't do anything but pierce my nails into his hands while enduring that pain. It was terrible, and he told me to shut the F up and not make noise because my brother will hear. That is according to this 16-year-old girl, alleging that she was raped by the minister of local government. Now, she addressed Irfan Ali, she addressed cabinet members, she addressed private sector, members of the private sector, she addressed the letter to members of the diplomatic community, citizens of Guyana. The question is, if Priya Manichan and Irfan Ali, if they are aware of this serious allegation of rape, have they done anything about it? Because what we do know is that Nigel Dharamlal is still sitting there as the minister of local government in Guyana. Let me reiterate that what I've just read there is an allegation leveled against Dharamlal. And if this allegation is substantiated and there is evidence that he did this, then why we haven't heard anything about this particular incident at all, since it was, according to what we've just heard there, it was brought to the level of the cabinet. And Irfan Ali, according to what we read there, should be aware of this alleged rape. Mr. Caesar, you heard it there. You heard what that young lady said in that letter that was sent to the diplomatic community. It was sent to all cabinet members, or most of them, including the Minister of Social Services, including, I assume, the Minister of Education. Mr. Crawford, good evening. But
good evening, everybody.
Before we go to Mr. Crawford, Caesar, take a shot at this here.
Mark, I am going to defer to JR for now. I'm not ready to answer this as yet.
Mr. Crawford, you heard there. What's happening?
Well, it's a sad situation, but like everything else, I think that will be swept under the rug. There were other allegations in the past, and nothing came of it, because this cat is supposed to be a pet of the big boss. So nothing will come out of it. It's an unfortunate situation, and these are the things that people like us have to bring. You have to hit it every day in the media to get it looked at. And one of the ways we can put a dent into this is to let the International Human Rights Association be aware of this individual, and it would also interfere with his ability to travel. Remember when he went to New Jersey and had that funny exchange, and nothing came out of that one too.
Absolutely. That particular allegation was laid to rest. Nothing ever came out of it. But this one is serious. A 16-year-old girl, schoolgirl, is alleging that Nigel Dharamlal, the Minister of Local Government, raped her. That is what she is alleging.
Mark, at the time of the incident, did she pass her 16th birthday?
She did say she celebrated her 16th birthday on the 16th of September, and so they met after that.
Good. Well, remember, the laws have been changed, I think, about the mid-2000s, when there was a similar incident with a former PPP minister and they changed the law from 18 to 16 as consensual. So
that was said to have been a businessman by the name of Khan. But
right, I think 16 is now consensual.
yes. But let's get back to what she said when he invited her. She claims here, as soon as we reached into the house, he put on his TV loud downstairs and told my brother to watch it and then took me upstairs. I went with him. I was not thinking, just following whatever he was asking of me. I just didn't know what he would have done to me. He led me to a bedroom and closed the door. He kissed me immediately. He kissed me immediately. One second.
Mark.
1 second, please. He kissed me immediately, stopped and started unbuttoning his shirt, and I was standing in front of him. Then he came and started kissing me again and tried to take my top off, but the style was a bit complex because I had to untie it from the back, which he told me to do. Then he pulled my pants down because it was a soft pants. He had no difficulty. I was in my bare underwear, my entire body like it froze, and I was just following orders. Then he got completely undressed, naked, and started kissing me again. Then he stopped and said slowly, I want you to suck it. I said, I'm not going to do that. Then he said, what do you mean, not going to do that? Then harshly pushed my head downstairs and forced his penis in my mouth. On and on and on.
Yeah, but Mark, there's a couple of scenarios there. They have to establish where the force is. She went to his place free under her own will. So there, that part will weaken the case. Yes, it might have been unwarranted sex or unwanted sex, but how do you establish the fact that you went there on your free will? They would ask, if you didn't realize what it was, and a good lawyer will get him off because she is considered consensual, and it's his word against hers. There is no footage to show that he was forcing himself. And, it's a complicated matter. It's an unfortunate situation. But the biggest stumbling block on this case would be, why did you go to his residence? And a good lawyer will get him off on that.
On the issue of the allegations of rape, all throughout, it doesn't matter if a young lady goes to somebody's house. Anybody could be invited to someone's house. And if they basically say no, she's 16 years old. He is almost 50. 16 years old. How they met was under questionable circumstances. He started to seduce her when she was underage. He seduced her, allegedly, mind you, to his house. He is a sitting government official. I don't know, in any court, in any
Mark.
1 second, please, in any sensible court, I'm not sure which jury would agree with Dharamlal and acquit him. I'm not sure.
Mark, in the courts of Guyana, we have seen so many miracles and so many funny stuff happening. And then you ask the question, which court?
Well, one of the things we want to do, JR, we don't want to try the case right here, whether the court is going to agree. We're not trying. We are basically talking about the allegations that are
right.
made.
It's an unfortunate situation.
Good.
Granted,
it's beyond
the outcome.
1 second. It's beyond unfortunate. This is was a 15-year-old girl when he started to solicit allegations of solicitation of sex. That by itself is a crime.
Yes.
If there is sufficient evidence of that
Evidence.
nature, then that is a crime. So any court would convict him of that crime as it pertains to the sexual contact with her, and according to her, unwanted sexual contact. I'm not sure that any court will find the defendant not guilty. But we're not here to try it. We are here basically talking about what she is alleging that took place.
Yes. Everything you're
And
saying
if she
makes
alleges that she was raped, well, then there ought to be an investigation. And if she sent this, according to the information we got here, if she sent this to Irfan Ali, she sent it to the diplomatic community, then any right-thinking individual would want to call the police in to have the police investigate this matter, because this is a serious matter. We're not yet in the court. We're not gone there yet. Mr. Caesar, let's bring you in, please.
Yes, yes, Mark. So, look, first thing here, there's going to be the question of consent. All right. That being said, though, there was a pageant, and he would have seen this girl, and they took pictures and all that. Who to know whether he took the picture home or whatever it is, and was looking at this girl all the time and pursued her, because that's what I'm feeling happened here. Because since he was asking for a number, and she could, give numbers that belongs, and hey, if they could trace that those numbers that young lady gave belongs to Darmlal, that's a direct tie there. Okay, and look, this guy has a history here now. So we're not talking about a guy with a clean record here. This guy has a history. Okay, and these guys, and that's the thing with this government, man. They got some real questionable characters that makes up this government. This guy is, look, we're talking about somebody 15, 16-year-old daughter here, man. As Mark is saying, this man is almost 50 years old, and he's a minister in the parliament. This is high class lawlessness. And the way this story is laid out, this story is well laid out, the way Mark just laid this out here for us. Listen, I'm leaning towards this young lady was raped.
Mark.
Yes,
There's
sir.
a couple of things you have to consider. One, we're dealing with the country called Guyana. The Madia situation, Ali promised a COI. You yourself repeated it several times. What happened to the COI? It's just talk, hot air. There was an investigation done on a particular individual, a government minister. At the time, he wasn't a minister, but he was a very prominent person. And it was alleged that there was a 9-year-old involved in that he was involved with. The investigator went, spent about 2 weeks. They gathered all the information, interviewed the individual, and nothing came out of it. There was also another situation where I think a 12-year-old got impregnated by, again, another former cabinet member. Nothing came out of that. The unfortunate thing is, this is Guyana. Our judicial system works conveniently to the tune of who is in government. When there is a particular party in government, the laws are upheld. When there's another particular party in government, the laws start to go like a bad radio signal. So my reason for stating it's an unfortunate situation, and the reason I say it's going to go under the rug, it is the nature of the beast we're dealing with. And for us to have our laws being enacted properly, we as a nation need to combine ourselves and look ourselves in the mirror. Are we better off with this group or are we better off with that group? And that's the unfortunate situation we and our younger generation find themselves in. We don't have a law-abiding leadership. Our courts are not allowed to operate independently from interference from the government ministry. And worse yet, our police system is mandated by the ruling party. That's the unfortunate situation. And that is why we must be very, very guarded on how we operate and how we choose our leadership team.
All right, so getting back to this particular situation here now, the issue at hand is for the matter, assuming, because I'm not sure why this young lady would want to put herself out there with such allegations leveled against minister of the government. Having listened to what you have said, Mr. Crawford, that's a different situation than to have this matter swiftly investigated. And then we see where it goes. I got your point in terms of the justice system, in terms of the police and so forth. Just recently, a mother gave a statement at the police station about Azruddin's Mohammed dad, who, according to the report, slapped a 12-year-old boy, schoolboy, slapped him. Nothing came out of this. So, I get your point in terms of the system. But at least they should start somewhere now that this matter was brought to the attention of all those people. And I'm sure that the diplomatic community may want to act just as they acted swiftly with Kwame McCoy and the allegations that he sexually harassed a minor, a schoolboy, and they revoked his visa. Well, then they can do the same with this so-called minister. Assuming that the allegations are correct, mind you, but we are not hearing anything at all of that sort. It's got to start somewhere. We cannot have ministers of the government going around raping little girls or raping anyone. More so a little girl, a 15 or a 16-year-old girl. No, it's unacceptable. Unacceptable. And mind you, I wish to repeat. These are allegations leveled against Minister Dharamlal. They are allegations. And since Mr. Irfan Ali is supposedly aware of this situation, then we are hoping that he would respond. Along with other cabinet members, possibly Priya Manik-Chand should respond to this as well. Allegations of rape against Nigel Dharamlal. That's all I wish to say at this time on this particular matter.
Quick question. What ethnicity is the young lady?
For me, I'm not sure that I see much relevance. It doesn't matter if she's...
No, I'm asking you a question.
Well, I prefer not to expose her ethnicity or identity.
If this same accused individual could stand in our parliament and berate a fellow parliamentarian with the issue of a dildo comment, and nothing was done to yank him from that body, do you think anything else is going to come out of this? These guys know that they have the master behind them. They will flaunt the law. They will abuse the system. They will abuse people. Remember, these guys are cowards. You take them out of those ministerial positions and they're wimps. They cry like little bee. So what has happened in this country with the police being what it is right now? These cats are running around thinking they are power lifters. When you get them in a certain situation, they cry and they beg and like little girls. So that is what happened. They're abusing their political appointments. And he might run from the law, but he will not be able to run from reality.
You know, Mark, we also got to keep in mind that this young lady would have said that her life was threatened. Okay, let's keep that in mind. That she would have also said that her life was threatened. Listen, look, this is typical Guyana, and these type of behaviors need to stop, man. And trust me, this young lady is not the only young woman that this has happened to. Trust me, there are many young ladies in Guyana who would have experienced the same thing, but they're very, very scared to come forward. And these guys, man, these big old men, man, they are predators, man. They're not even allowing our young women to develop, get themselves well educated, and mold themselves into proper women. They're just jumping all over them. That young woman still have the features of our parents, man. And Mark, I tell you, yes, we say it's allegations right now, but the way it's laid out, but we have to stick with it. It is allegations. But man, if this turn out to be truth, man, Nigel Darnell, man, people like you guys, man, I'm just not going to say it on this station. I'm just not even going to say what I'm going to say. But you guys need to stop taking advantage of people, man. And there's a lot of poor people, children that they just prey on, man. You know, you guys really need to stop preying on people, children, not just girl children. There's elements in that party that just prey on young boys too. You guys need to stop. Over to you, Mark.
16 minutes after 10 o'clock. Thank you so much, gentlemen. This reading the story, and I got all of the information sent. Reading the story, I know how some Guyanese are. They get into what is called the victim blaming. You blame the victim, why she went to this house, why she this, why she that. If the allegations are correct, a crime was committed, and a crime was committed even before she went to his house. She was a minor when he was allegedly pursuing her. She was a minor. He was having conversations with her and all manner of things while she was a minor. It is a crime. And I'm not going to get into the victim game or victim playing or blaming and these sort of things, because it happens. Quite often it happens. And even if they were alone and she is insisting that she said no, regardless of what, whether she took her blouse off or whatever, at some point in time, she could still say no. She said she was afraid because she wasn't expecting that. She didn't know what to do. For crying out loud, she is a 16-year-old little girl. She is a little girl. He is a 49-year-old big old hardback old man. I don't know. Mike Tyson was accused of that in a hotel room. It was his word against the victim's word. She won. He lost. He went to jail. I understand you may say it's a different justice system. Yes. But here is where we have to stand up as a village, as a community, to protect our little boys and protect our little girls. We have got to do it. These sort of allegations are rampant in Guyana with little boys and little girls. We already know of the Kwame situation and so forth. And allegations is that he hasn't hung his gloves up as yet too. So we understand all of these things, and I'm saddened just reading the information. It's horrible. The allegations, it's horrible. And I'm keeping my fingers crossed, and I'm just hoping that it's not true. But if it is true, then the police have to make that move, investigate, arrest, and investigate. And if it is accurate, while under investigation, he should be removed as the Minister of Local Government. Gentlemen.
No, he should be remanded to prison if there is sufficient there, not just removed. But Mark, you spoke on this platform several times about one Otisha. And what happened? Nothing. So we're seeing with all the little boys and all these things, right? What we're seeing in this.
I'm not sure that Otisha was charged.
That's what I'm trying to get to you, my friend.
But
what we're seeing is
fair enough. We're talking about these so-called elected officials,
right,
who are abusing their powers.
I'm trying to establish a pattern here, so you will get to understand it. If a low-level criminal like Otisha
we can't say Otisha is a criminal. We can't say Otisha is a criminal. He has never been convicted. So, but go ahead.
Mr. Gentleman, what I'm saying, let me establish my point. If those people can walk away and are free to continue to ruin other people's lives, what do you think a minister is going to do? Who's going to give time? If a minister is in this government stealing hundreds and hundreds of millions of dollars and nobody is prosecuting them, they will look at it and says, a little thing like a young girl having sex with a rich man, they wouldn't do it, because remember, when you're part of the clique, the people outside of the circle are not respected, they're not worried about. And that is when you have a rogue administration at work. And that's why it comes back to the people must come together for the betterment of their society. I've been speaking about it for years. We will not see anything come of this because of what we're dealing with. Somebody's going to come with some money, and somebody's going to retract a statement and saying, Mary made me make a statement, or I didn't know what I was saying, I was not in my right mind. Some sort of thing is going to come up and it goes away. That is how it's dealt with. I've seen hundreds and hundreds of cases where people come into the office and will give a statement to what has transpired, and the day of court, they go and they say something totally opposite of what they told my parents.
Well, we have been hearing, it's evident we've been hearing and seeing these things. While I was in Guyana, there are lots of young girls who reported being raped. By the time you got to the station, the story was settled and all these different things. I got you.
Let me just address this. Let me just address this individual. Hazel Johnson. No, hold on.
One second, Mr. Crawford.
She is sitting on this platform talking garbage. I cannot go and convict Darmlal without no solid evidence. How are we so damn foolish to want me to commit myself to commit somebody without proper evidence? Why are some of the adults on this program so dense? It's the law. The law is an ass. Everybody knows that. If we don't have proper evidence, I will not go out on a platform to incriminate myself and expose myself to a lawsuit by Dharmlal. Why are some of the people on this program so mentally challenged? I know what law is. I am very versed in it. I am not going to go out there and put myself in a position where I'm dragged in front of court and a fool like Johnson, she wouldn't pay my legal bill.
Well, that is why we got to protect, and I got to protect the station by using words such as allege. But getting back to the point, if the story is accurate, and I'm not saying that it is, I don't know, but the young lady, I don't see why she would put herself out there. We've got to get back now to the story where this child, she's still a little girl, 16 years old, that she needs help. She's obviously traumatized, again, assuming that everything that is being said is accurate. She's traumatized. She needs help. She is a victim, again, assuming that everything is accurate here. And at this moment, I'm calling on the authorities in Guyana to investigate this matter. And they can't say they don't know where to start. She apparently, based on the information, wrote to Irfan Ali. She wrote to members of the Private Sector Commission as well. And so they are well aware of this, or should be aware of this situation. And by tomorrow, Dharamlal should be invited to the police station. Should be invited, should be detained, and possibly arrested. Let it start there. And whatever happens thereafter, if they want to corrupt the system, if they want to, whatever it is, we shall see exactly what it is and how the country operates. But the ball has to start rolling almost immediately to have this matter investigated. Two other persons' names are called in this here. One is a sitting Minister of Indigenous Affairs, no stranger to controversy, that is, Pauline Sukai. The other individual, no stranger to controversies, especially around little girls too, that is Lennox Schumann. This matter should be investigated. And as of this point in time, we hand it over to the authorities in Guyana to do their job. We have done our part here on 107.1 FM. Caesar, unless you have something else to say before we move on.
Yeah, Mark, I would just want to add, listen, this girl would have wrote to all the higher ups, the president, and everyone else. The pressure cannot be laid squarely on our shoulders. So I would assume that she has parents, right? And what this young lady is trying to say here, right, is she's not talking money here. She's talking justice. She needs justice for what was done to her. I know in the past you would have people who will take some money and just duck the story. But there's still people in Guyana with integrity, and when you violate them, they don't want your money. They want justice. So, to the extent this family wants justice, they should be given their date in court, and this young lady deserved to have justice. Look, this story is alleged, Mark. But that being said, Nigel Darmlal and all these guys in the government, they are not above the law. They're just not gonna walk around and allegedly abusing people's children and get away with it. So this young lady deserves her day in court, and I look forward to seeing where this goes.
She certainly deserves justice. Again, all that I read to you guys are merely allegations, and it's over to the Guyana Police Force to investigate this matter and let's see where it goes. Knowing very well the justice system in Guyana, where majority of the times it appears as though they do not work in favor of victims. They do not work in favor of the ordinary people. The police force operates for the most part in that manner as well. So we shall see what happens with this particular situation. And let us hope it is not going to be swept under the rug. And let us hope very soon we will get some information that the suspect is arrested and questioned. And again, like I've said, we see where it goes from there. We're looking at the time because it's been a busy day.
Mark,
Let's touch on the rigged
Mark,
election. Let's touch, Mr. Crawford, on the rigged election.
I have an important point to make.
Is it on what?
I have an important point to make.
Go ahead.
In the Deep South, a young 15-year-old Amerindian girl was murdered one night. Nothing has come out of that. They were talk about being interfered with sexually, and the police has done nothing about it. So you see what I'm saying? This happened recently in the Deep South. What we're seeing, people are classified as important or not. The system works only for those who they deem it to work. And that is the unfortunate circumstances that we're dealing with in this country. The abuse, with this situation, we should have heard from the Child Welfare Office, as well as the Ministry of Education, as well as the police department. But again, we are not being respected by the people that are in charge of this country's affair at this juncture. If it was David Granger administration, we would have certainly seen things go in a different way. And that's the unfortunate situation that we find ourselves in this country. And many people are not understanding. Everybody's jumping up and down. Yes, it is true that everything needs to be investigated, but we are being abused by the people that are in there now. And it comes back. That's why at times you would say, don't look for the international organization. They are the ones who interfered with our proper democracy that was on track to put us in a better place as a country. We didn't see these things happening in 2015 to 2020. And I know people have asked me questions. Why aren't the police seeing it fit to investigate some things? Why the same scenario? Why was the fire situation investigation closed within a few hours, but our police are asking for a month more to finish an investigation that they have charged an individual already, but they don't have a complete investigation? Are you seeing how we are working ass backwards? And that's the unfortunate thing, that the people of this country are meeting on a daily basis. There's so much more that we may not know of that goes unnoticed because the system is failing us as a people. And that's why I am saying this will go away, because this is how it works. And if you don't believe me about the young 15-year-old Amerindian in the Deep South, I could have you speak to people that have knowledge of it.
You know, an indigenous or an American Indian, I'm not sure that I heard of that story, but back to Guyana and the 16-year-old, because I don't know of the circumstances of which you speak of, a case of a 15-year-old American Indian girl, but I wish I would know the circumstances. What I just outlined to all of our listeners, including you and Caesar, are what is supposed to be the circumstances under which this 16-year-old is alleging that she was raped by a minister, a sitting minister of the installed PPP regime that needs to be investigated, and then we will see where it goes from there. And then when we see where it goes from there, we can talk about the manner of the police investigations or the criminal justice system. I know there are lots of people, I've been there with a lot of victims in Guyana who were basically not given their day in court. The system is corrupt. I know of situation when or where people just go and they bribe the family, pay them a couple of dollars to finish the story. I know of police officers who got involved to settle matters. I know of some folks who were part of the DPP chambers who were part and parcel of that as well. So this justice system in Guyana is indeed corrupt for the most part. But all I'm speaking of is that let us see at least there's a start in order to investigate the allegations that are leveled by this young lady. There should be a start. And then we see where it goes from there. 34 minutes after 10 o'clock, I want us to touch briefly on serious allegations of rigged elections, rigged on the part of the PPPC. And we'll just spend a few minutes on this rigged elections. We are seeing areas where votes were questioned by the PPPC and they suddenly ended up as a tie, or the PPPC took control. Mr. Caesar, take the first shot at this, please, as we prepare to wrap up.
Yeah, Mark, well, look, it doesn't surprise me. I feel like if we have allowed that so-called quote unquote forced vice president to come and push out his press conferences, it doesn't seem as if we have a Guyana election commission, because he seems to be playing the role, because he's coming out with numbers at all his press conferences, and basically showing us to our faces that, he's rigging the elections. Look, those numbers that we had gotten initially, man, those were the numbers. All these recounts and all these things that is bringing the PPPC back in the game, man, it just showed. Look, Mark, let me just break it down here. We needed a new list, okay? And that's the reason why the people have not agreed for us to do, house-to-house registration and get a complete new list, or to spend some time really cleansing the current list, meaning putting resources behind getting the list cleansed, right? Because they're going to use the list, they're going to manipulate the list in order to rig the elections. Look, they were caught in industry rigging. I am sure New Amsterdam, I still don't believe. I think it's 4-3 it was in New Amsterdam, or whatever it was. I still don't believe that. I still believe that the PPPC would have rigged New Amsterdam. Same thing, I believe, for Bartico. I don't think they were able to really rig in Linden. You see, listen, man. To all Guyanese, you guys gotta adapt from the people of Linden, man. People from Linden is no nonsense. They are no nonsense. They would not allow the PPPC to just walk in and do whatever they please to do. And the people of Melanie, we need to listen. Mark, I feel like if the opposition need to do something about this, I'm gonna be honest. This is taking too long. Mark, did GCOM declare everything as yet? Did they declare the election
I'm
as
not.
yet, Mark?
I was told I didn't see anything. I searched the website for that. I haven't seen anything. But
So
it is obvious that GCOM is now run by Jack Dale. So he made his declaration and he wants people to buy that.
but Mark, this is totally legal.
I don't know if and we still got to keep an eye on New Amsterdam because next thing you know, we hear that they got a 4-3, a 4 in favor of PPP. Right now, there's of the 7 seats, 4 in favor of APNU. And we've got to be careful with that. We've just got to be careful with that. Mr. Crawford, your take on the massive allegations of rigging, the allegations of massive rigging, by the part of the PPP.
Mark, these people planned this rigging. They didn't expect that they had to do it so blatant because they expect a huge turnout. I knew from 2 days prior to the election that the turnout would not be there. They were scrambling to do their rigging because of the investment that the PPP party has doled out. They were contractors in Region 6 after the word has gotten out that the traction was very low, who were told, you guys got contracts, make it happen, go and get the people and take them to the polls. One person got 87 people from a particular village to go to the polls between 4 and 5:30. Another contractor further down the road, he got about 50 something to go there at the same time. And from my source, they got big contracts and they were told, we are taking care of you. It's your job to find the people and put them in the polling stations. And other areas where the counting got screwed up just to take down APNU because they had expect to blow the system out. And with the monies dumped, they would have taken New Amsterdam, and Linden was supposed to be at least half of the seats would have gone to them. And Georgetown, they would have at least break even. It didn't happen. So they were caught with their pants down. That is why GCOM had to run silent while they were auto finagling. Madia, I don't believe the numbers in Madia. I don't believe the numbers in Bartica. But it is dealing with the PPP. You have to be a very forceful person or a group to deal with them. They are going to play the game with every trick in the book to stay in power. The reason why PPP is trying to make a one-party state, they have realized that the people are on to their way of doing things, which is the wrong way, and they're trying now to be a complete communist entity so they can have control of Guyana. Because every month we are finding more and more oil, natural resource monies, and they want it all for themselves. So the rigging will continue. The buying backfired on them because the complaints were, people are so ungrateful. We give them so much monies, and yet they didn't vote for us, some of them. And some people are being questioned. You guaranteed me a certain area and it didn't happen. You know how much money we give you to spend out there, what happened? And they're going to try harder the next time around.
All right, gentlemen, 42 minutes after 10 o'clock. I thank you both. It's been a hectic day. We will continue to observe the happenings, and definitely tomorrow, hopefully, if there's anything, then I'll be back in the morning. If not, you'll see me back tomorrow at 9 o'clock. Mr. Caesar, Mr. Crawford, thank you both, sir. Appreciate
Mark.
it.
Good night.
Yeah. All right. So thank you, all of our listeners. It's I don't know what's happening in Guyana, all these different things. And so we are hoping, and it is my hope that this young lady will get some sort of, at least her matter looked into. And a lot of you, I've been reading some of your comments that many of you seem to believe this young lady's story. She's a little girl, 16 years old, just a little girl. The police just need to get involved and investigate this matter, and so that they can get at the bottom of it. And if there's sufficient evidence there, in fact, the police are just not looking for sufficient evidence to try it at the police station. She's saying that, according to the allegations, that she was raped, and therefore it's no longer his word against her word. He should be investigated. And how do you begin an investigation? By basically detaining him, arresting him while you conduct that investigation. And while the matter is either at some point in time, I anticipate that he may be charged. I don't know. But these allegations and these questionable conducts by the Minister of Local Government has been going on for a while, and it has got to come to a stop. At some point in time, it has got to stop. Hopefully, Priya Manikchand would issue a statement. Hopefully, the Minister of Social Services would issue a statement. And at some point in time, hopefully, we can hear from Irfan Ali, because this information, this letter was addressed directly to Irfan Ali as well. And so whatever happens after the matter is investigated and the culprit possibly charged, then we can take the discussion as we observe what would be the outcome of this situation, and to keep the fire burning on this particular issue. Again, the allegations level, once it turns out to be true, then we will have to keep the fire burning to ensure that this little girl gets justice. Every day is something different. Every day is something different indeed in Guyana. We've got to continue to be very, very strong. It's not about loudmouth. It's not about emotions. It's about being smart and understanding how we approach these situations. We've got to pray for Guyana, but maybe, as some would say, do more than just praying for Guyana. Claudette Singh, I'm not sure whether people would believe whatever they hear from you now, other than the perception throughout the country, mainly by opposition supporters, is that for the most part, GCOM is compromised, and that the local government elections in areas where the PPP lost, those ballot boxes were stuffed and the elections rigged. Have a good night, guys. I'll see you guys tomorrow, same place, same time. And if there's anything in the morning that I need to bring to your attention, I will do just that. God bless you all. And God bless our beautiful, beautiful country. So long.
Hello, this is attorney Shellen Washington, owner and founder of the Washington Law Firm, located at 455 Utica Avenue in Brooklyn, New York. We're specialized in medical malpractice, personal injuries, matrimonial law, and landlord and tenant. If you're in need of legal representation, please give us a call today. The number to call is 718-877-3100. Consultation is free at no cost to you. So call us today to see if we can be of any assistance to your legal needs. Again, the phone number to call us is 718-877-3100.